Hey guys, welcome back to one of our Saturday workouts. Today we're going to go over 4 exercises you can use for better balance, coordination, strength, and mobility. Alright, so the first one we're going to do is a pistol squat. We're going to have here Taylor demonstrate all our exercises and are progressing for about 2 to 3 different variations of each. The first thing we're going to do is a pistol squat. We're going to start at a higher height, right? And what we want to make sure we do is we're going to start hand on the wall. For our purposes, we're going to use the rack as our wall. What we're always going to do is making sure that our toe and our heel are on the floor, the one that you're going to work on. We're going to have the other leg up in the sky, and we're going to try to hinge at your hip and your knee and facing backwards, trying to touch your butt to a higher obstacle and back up. You can use anything like a couch, a bench, a chair, a table if you have it high enough. We're going to start there. Taylor, where do you feel that?
My butt and my quad.
She feels that in her butt and your quads. That's the only place you want to feel it. You want to be careful with this on your knee and your hip if you have a hip or a knee issue. You don't want to feel it too much in your joint, but you are going to feel it slightly. We're going to do about 10 and maybe switch sides. But like I said, in the beginning, we're only going to go over the exercise technique, and then we're going to go over what you should do for a workout. There you go. The second variation we're going to do of this is we're going to try to stagger our legs. So she's going to have one leg forward, one leg back. The forward leg is going to be on its heel, so we're going to put less pressure on this leg. As we're going down, we're going to try to touch our butt and hinge at your hip, putting all your weight on the back leg. You're going to make sure you're building a bridge with your big toe and your heel. There you go, exactly. Inhaling down, exhaling up, keeping your belly real tight, letting your back leg do all the work. Go ahead and switch for me. There you go. What do you feel? That same but a little bit different?
Same, yeah.
Yeah, good. So you can see she's leaning towards her left hip, which is her working leg. And that's okay. That's what we want. We want to build that leg strong enough to eventually we're going to be able to raise that leg, right? So once you feel comfortable with this, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to elevate that leg. So, all right, Taylor. So we're basically going to go back to the variation, the first one, but we're going to go lower in height now. So what Taylor's going to do is she's going to start holding onto the rack for the first one. She's going to have that foot down and the other foot away from her. She's going to try to touch that bench, which is a little bit lower, a little bit harder, right? More pressure in your quad, more pressure in your butt? Yeah. Exactly. A lot more balance. So we're starting with the rack. Once you feel good and comfortable, you can give your hands in front and you're going to try to balance on your own. Trying to tap that bench without sitting or pushing on it too much. There you go. Switch legs for me. As you can see, Taylor has really, really good balance. She has really, really good strength in her joints and her muscles and around her joints. She's saying quite thanks. All right, there you go. Let's do a couple more. There you go. This one's hardest one. By far, the lower you go and the lower you get your chair or your bench or whatever height you're at, the harder it's going to be. That's going to be our first strength set. Okay, our second one, we're going to move over into a plank up down. We're going to have 2 different variations for this. For the first one, we're going to start on our knees. So let's start in a plank position first. So as you can see, she's really flat from her back to her knees. She's like a straight board, right? So from here, I'm going to have her go down on her elbows and then go up on her hands again. And you can see she's not twisting her hips a lot, right? She's trying to keep them nice and even. She's putting all the work in her shoulders. So this is a shoulder exercise with some core in it, correct? Where do you feel that the most? Shoulders and core. Yeah, it's perfect. Let's keep going. So once we get about 10, we're going to switch sides to the other side, right? We're going to think about clockwise and counterclockwise. There you go. Exactly. So this is the easier version. You shouldn't feel it too much in your traps. I want you rather you feel in your deltoids, your rear shoulders, and a lot in your core. All right, we're going to go down our toes now. So if you can do this well, stay here. If you want to make it a little bit challenging, you're going to go on your toes. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to try to keep your hips nice and even without moving it side to side. Like Heather always says, you want to keep a cup, your favorite wine cup, on top of your hips and not let it fall. Because if you let it fall, Heather's going to be really mad. There you go. Making sure those hips are nice and even. You feel it more in your shoulders now?
Yeah, my core.
And your core. She feels a lot more in her core and shoulders. Another tip for you guys, if you want to keep your hips a little bit more even, you can spread out your legs a little bit more. Try to spread out your legs more. Does it make it a little bit easier? Yeah, it makes it a little bit easier. The narrower your legs, the narrower your base, the harder your core is going to have to work to keep it there. So legs wider, easier. Legs shorter, harder. Knees down, easier. Knees up, harder, right? There you go. You guys have any questions at all on this? Please don't hesitate to ask us later on in the comments or face-to-face. Send us an email, send us a message, whatever you got. The third one we're going to go over is the hip thrust. We're going to go over 3 different variations of our hip thrust we're going to use here. So Taylor's going to get on the bench. The most important part is how to set up a hip thrust. So for women, it's really easy to tell them, use your bra line, right? The bra line is what I tell women to tell. The bra line should fall right underneath your shoulder blade. For guys, I tell them to get right underneath their shoulder blade. The shoulder blade is going to be touching the bench. Your shoulder blade is not going to be off the bench, correct? So once your shoulder's off on the bench, you're going to have your hands out or hands on your shoulders. We're just not going to use our hands to push up, right? So she has her hands relaxed, her elbows relaxed. We're going to go down, sink your butt into the floor, and as you're going up, you're pushing your glutes together. You're going to squeeze your glutes at the top, right? So it's a glute exercise, a hamstring glute exercise, a posterior chain exercise. What do you feel the most? Her butt. Perfect. You're going to make, what's up?
Don't we look in a certain way?
No, you look. I want you to make sure you look straight, actually. Yeah, don't look to the sides. Look straight out. You're going to think of a teeter-totter, right? You're going to make sure as your butt comes down, your head comes up. As your head goes back, your butt comes up. You never want to be, show them an arch position. Yeah, you never want to be this way. You never want to leave your head back. You want to make sure your head keeps picking up with your butt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it makes your neck hurt. It makes your lower back hurt. It's a lot of spots you don't want to do. At the same time, you want to make sure your heels are always on the ground. Your toes can be off the ground, but if you really want to feel it, on the ground's better. As we get more comfortable with this exercise, you can widen out your stance. You can get narrower. Just a way to find out what feels better on your butt. The second way we're going to do this a little bit harder, we're going to stagger your legs. Right? So she's going to have her feet staggered just a little bit, not too much, maybe a half a foot apart. And we're going to go all the way up. So she's going to shift her weight on the leg that's flat, right? So her left leg is flat here. So she's going to feel it on her left glute, right? Yeah. Nothing changes in her back. Her hips are still dropping. Her back is nice and flat. She's still looking forwards, forward. Yep. There you go. Go ahead and switch over for me. And you're going to feel this a lot more in one glute instead of both, which is better. You're getting that side stronger. We always want to make sure we train legs and arms actually together and apart. You got to make sure your core is always tight, right? At the top of this movement, you can see her body still. The only way to keep that solid line, solid plank, is to have her core real tight. If your core's loose, you're going to arch a lot. And the last one we're going to do is you're going to have your leg bent and then straight, actually. You're going to start with your leg bent. That's when you're going to go all the way up. So as you see, she has her knee up into the sky. That's the easier way of doing this. Is the first way I want you to do. Go down and all the way up. Oh, let's keep the other one on. Yep, and all the way up. Exactly. Do a couple more of those. Good. So this is a little bit easier. It's still harder than the staggered. And now we're going to switch legs and you keep your legs straight. So this is the harder version. Once you keep your legs straight, it's really difficult. You're going to make sure your hips are even, right? You don't want to drop one side. You don't want to drop the other side. You want to make sure your hips are even. You feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My butt's talking to me.
Butt's on fire. So like I said, we're going to start showing the first variation. Double legged, all right? So that's the first one we're going to start. Get comfortable with this first. Stagger next. The second way is stagger. You're going to make sure you feel good on one side and then switch to the other side. Like always, do 10 on one side, 10 on the other side, and see how you feel. Let's go knee bend up. So this is the third version. Knee bend up. It's a little bit more advanced. You want to make sure your hips are even. You never want to feel this in your lower back. Always hamstring and glute, hamstring and glute. And the last version, legs are going to be straight. The straighter it is, the more locked out, the more this glute is going to have to work to get it together. Nice job. Relax. And then the last one we're going to do is going to be prone shoulder extensions. So let me get this out of the way. Okay, so Taylor's going to be facing face down. Her forehead's going to be on the ground. And we're going to start the easy way. We're going to start just sliding our hands down and up to the floor. We're going to get full extension of the shoulders and full flexion. So you want to get your elbows all the way down to your rib cage if you can, and then all the way up. Some people don't have more mobility than this, and that's okay to start with. We want to make sure we're building your mobility. You don't want to make sure you're starting too hard and then you get eventually frustrated. At the same time, you want to relax your back and squeeze your glutes, right? You want to make sure you don't have a lot of back pain in this position. For women, this may be uncomfortable because of their breast. If that's the case, just do a couple at a time, and then we can go up from there. All right, the second variation is going to be a little bit more challenging and difficult. You're going to have your elbows and hands as far away from the floor as possible. You're going to start here and end here. This is your starting and ending position. So from here, she's going to slowly, one at a time, alternate. There you go. So she's going to push that out and push it back in. The faster we go, we start letting go of technique. So I want you guys to do this very slowly. And you're going to see Taylor's struggling right now. She's feeling all over this arm, right? Feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's feeling all over the arm. You're going to feel your rear side of your deltoids, your lats, your traps. You're working through that mobility. Think about an obstacle right here. She's trying not to touch that higher part of the obstacle. Yes, good. Switch sides. The slower we go, the more you feel your shoulders, the higher you keep your hands and elbows off the floor, the better. Good. Go ahead and speed it up a little bit more. There you go. Once you get more comfortable with the exercise and you know what you're doing, you can start picking it up a little bit. So as you can see, her right shoulder is a little bit higher than the left. She has a lot more mobility in her right than her left. Yes, good. Where do you feel that, Taylor?
My arm, my shoulders.
She feels it in the back of the front.
Back.
Back. She feels all in the rear shoulders. It's a good rear shoulder exercise. We don't really have a lot of ways to create rear shoulder exercises without weights or bands. This is a really good one for you. You can do a show 'em double arm. You can do alternating double arm. We like to use both variations. If you do single or alternating one, it's really much easier to concentrate on one arm at a time. A lot of times if you do double arm, it's harder to stay focused on how your arms and elbows and hands are farther away from the floor. Good, relax. Thanks for joining us. This was a lot. We got a whole body. We got pistols and hip thrusts for legs, and we got shoulder extensions and plank up downs for arms. Good workout?
Yeah,
good.
How often should we do this?
So she's asking how often should we do this. So a good set for this would be to get about 4 rounds of 10 to 12 reps each. And you want to make sure you're alternating exercises, right? So you want to start with your pistol, get 1 round of that, then go down to your plank up downs, get 1 round clockwise and counterclockwise. So meaning starting with your left arm and then going into your right arm. Then get 1 round of hip thrust. Either you do it double-legged, get 10. If you do a single-legged, get 10 on each side. And then we're going to go into our shoulder external rotations, 10 of each side. So get 1 of each so your body parts can rest, and then move on to the other thing. Get 4 rounds of everything, right? Good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. We had fun here. Hope you guys have fun too. If you have any questions or comments, let us know below. If you have any questions about the exercises, we'd love to hear your feedback. All right? Have a great day, guys. It's as good as it gets.